In the previous episode, we've got an unexpected visit from the legend himself, Mr. Gerald Undone. He walked around the studio, checked the equipment, jotted down some notes, and now he's eager to continue his inspection on my studio. Dun. Gerald Undone. He's crazy.
Okay. I may not be popular enough for real Gerald Undone to do a studio tour, but that doesn't mean I cannot do it myself. Let's get undone. This is a part 2 of my studio tour, and if you haven't seen the first part, what are you even doing? Go watch it now. And for the rest of you, my studio desk. On my left, I have a camera with 18mm lens, which is wide enough to get the monitor into the shot and myself. Let's talk about the mounting system. It consists of this overhead bracket, which has this Manfrotto super clamp with an extension, and at the end of that there is a newer ball head with an aftermarket Arca Swiss plate for easy removal of the camera. Above the camera there is a Ninja 5 monitor for easier monitoring, which is mounted on the small rig clamp, and at the end of this there is a hawk lock for easy monitor removal. The camera is getting constant power from USB, and the monitor is also constantly powered by 12 volts. Now let's move on to the face cam. The face cam is another Lumix S5 with a 35mm lens. The setup is very similar as before. It is mounted on top of Elgato medium master mount with a flexi arm extension. Wow, that's a mouthful. On the Elgato mount there is the same newer ball head with a custom Arca Swiss clamp. Above the camera there is another Ninja 5 monitor mounted on top of the overhead bracket using this small rig arm. Everything is of course powered by constant power, camera with USB, and Ninja with 12-volt power. This angle also acts as my webcam when I'm having meetings or when I'm doing something at the desk. This same monitor sometimes gets used for my overhead camera also. And the overhead camera is another Lumix S5, this time with 20 to 60mm lens, so I can do some nice zooms if I'm doing something on the desk. This time there is no USB power, but there is a dummy battery for that unlimited runtime. This setup comes from when I used to have a GX9 as my overhead camera, but I since switched to all S5s. Sometimes I might need all of my camera angles, so in that case there is another hawk lock right here for another monitor, and this can run on the battery. As you can see, this setup can get a little bit wobbly since it's quite top heavy, but with camera stabilization and without moving it too much, it is not too bad. Next to that there is a Peak Design mount for my phone, and from here I can control the studio lighting. And since there's one less thing on the desk, this is very convenient. Now moving on further right, there is a tablet holder right here, and my iPad can act as my third monitor. And of course it has its own constant power. But check this out, it's pretty cool. On this arm I have another hawk lock, so I can remove this, and if I'm working on electronics, for example, I can put it on something like a multimeter. And I can monitor this one. So that is pretty cool. Now let's talk a little bit about the audio. On my left I have this MXL 9090, which is connected to the DBX 286 right here. So we can get that sweet radio voice. It's not always feasible to have this microphone here. For example, when I'm filming a side angle, this gets in the way. So for that reason, there is a cold shoe mount right here for this Rode VideoMic NTG. And this gets connected to Rode Wireless Pro for that wireless audio and timecode. The speakers are PreSonus Aries 3.5, I think, and they are on top of these stands, which clears up more space on the desk. And below them there is a baseline Mag Studio with M2 processor. This right here is a CalDigit dock, which expands the USBs and also drives my monitors. Behind the speakers, as you've seen in the previous video, there are Aperture MCs, which can change the colors. And right there are 4 Aperture B7C bulbs. For the lighting, on the left there is an Elgato Keylight Air, which is mounted on the mic arm, so I can move it up and, for example, light this Gerald Undone face. And as my fill light, there is Elgato Keylight, the full one. And it's mounted with another small rig arm. Also, another cool thing, there is this PC that I only use for gaming. This is just a gaming computer. And I have my pens and pencils on the magnets at the ready here. There's also a Stream Deck, which I use to control the lighting. So I will replace this one with the version 2, I think. Whoop, let's get that lighting back. There is an audio interface, which is a Focusrite 4i4 Gen 3. And this thing right here, this controls all the power outlets. So I can just switch the lights off and I can switch the lights on. And I turned off my monitors because they're connected to that light. But what can you do? So this has been a quick overview of my studio desk. If you have any questions about the setup, please leave them in the comments down below. Slap a like on this video. Thanks to Gerald Undone for visiting me, and I'll see you in another video. Dun, 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 dun. It's crazy.